And in our top business story, Dubai's non-oil foreign trade reached 647 billion dirhams from January to June this year. That's according to the latest figures from Dubai Customs. Imports had the lion's share at 401 billion dirhams, while exports and re-exports accounted for 74 billion and 172 billion dirhams respectively, according to official figures. Dubai also saw a 17% rise in total volume of traded goods during the first half of the year, rising as high as 49 million tonnes in commodities from 41 million in H1 last year. Smart, mobile and fixed phones made up the largest group of commodities traded through Dubai's borders in the first half of the year, with a total value of 84 billion dirhams, while computers amounted to 20 billion. Dubai's foreign trade in automobiles had a 30 billion dirham share, while petroleum oils worth 21 billion dirhams were traded across Dubai during the first 6 months. Gold represented 75 billion dirhams of Dubai's total foreign trade, while diamonds reached 51 billion and jewellery was valued at 34 billion dirhams. With bilateral trade worth 79 billion, China was by far Dubai's primary trading partner in the first half of the year. India came in second with 48 billion dirhams and the US followed with 43 billion in trade. Once again, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was Dubai's fourth top trading partner globally and first in the GCC and Arab regions at 27 billion dirhams. UAE investments into India have grown by about $1 billion in the last year. That's according to the latest figures released by the Indian Embassy in Abu Dhabi. FDI from the UAE from 2000 to 2016 has been $4.03 billion, representing 1.40% in terms of total foreign direct investment inflows, with $1 billion going to India in just 1 year from April 2015 to March 2016. According to the embassy, the bilateral trade between the two countries is around $50 billion for the year 2015 to 16, making the UAE India's third largest trading partner after China and the US, while the number of Indian companies registered with the UAE Ministry of Economy in 2014 stood at 4,365,177. The figure is less compared to the previous year as imports value from the UAE reduced from $26 billion in 2014 to 15 to $19 billion for 2015-16, largely due to a decline in crude oil prices. The Indian embassy said that the import figures show that quantity-wise, there is an increase of more than 25% in crude oil for 2015 to 2016 when compared to the previous year, but in value it is 42% less due to a decline in oil prices. In exports, the UAE is the second largest export destination of India, with an amount of over $30 billion for the year 2015 to 16. Governments and large corporations have been urged to be more agile in response to growing threats of cybersecurity, as international speakers and IT industry leaders have called for a collective action to counter threats. An increased number of malware attacks and protective measures for smarter economies were among the main discussion points during the third Do Cybersecurity Forum, where speakers highlighted some of the innovative tactics of cybercriminals and the level of threats that they pose. Among the speakers included former US Secretary for Homeland Security Governor Tom Ridge, who stated that cyber threats are here to stay and have forced governments to be more resilient. During his keynote address, Governor Ridge stated that governments and the private sector should be more agile and manage the risks before the risks manage us and dictate terms. Speakers also discussed the recent findings of the Nokia Threat Intelligence Report for 2016, which revealed a 96% increase in smartphone malware infections during H1 this year, with over 8.9 million Android malware samples recorded in July 2015. As governments aim to create smart cities, IT leaders have stated that now is the time to break the cycle and devise strategies to raise the bar for countering cyber threats.
The answer is simply no. The threat surface expands every day. The sophistication of the attacks, depending on the source, grows every day. That's the reality in the digital forevermore. So if you understand that reality and you accept that reality, you build resilient enterprises. You identify, you do threat assessments, you train your employees, become part of that mindset of opportunity and responsibility, and you go out and become the successful enterprise or government. But you're never going to eliminate that. It's a permanent condition. As we build out our platform of connectivity to people and things, let's choose the technology wisely. Let's integrate it with a mindset that there's risk attendant to it, and just make sure that we are security conscious. That's what this cybersecurity conference is all about. Let's accept the great promise of the digital forevermore. Let's understanding of the risk associated with it, and as we build out these platforms for government and for businesses, make sure we're dealing with potential risk along the way.
So as a company, it's about building those processes, making sure we understand those processes and that security is built in. So we've issued 4 white papers to cover our approach to security so far. So the first one back in 2012 was about, this is our definition of cybersecurity. Second one in 2013 was, this is how we've approached changing our entire company, because security needs to be part of your DNA. It's about building it into everything you do, and it's no different to quality. My fear is, when cybersecurity is treated as something different, that's a recipe for failure. It's part of who we are. It's part of who a company needs to be. Not just us, but everyone in the environment. And then the third white paper, the most important people who can change, the catalyst for really driving adoption and change, are the buyers. It's about changing buying behaviours, whether that be a government or a corporation or an individual.
According to DO, the organisers of the event, the conference aims to promote sharing information about the latest developments in cybersecurity, while also discussing the future of cognitive security, security for 5G, the Internet of Things, cloud security and security in the digital economy. The conference also hosted a hackathon, bringing together the youth to test their skills in the cybersecurity arena. And according to DO, the hackathon provided a safe learning environment for young hackers and challenged them in a competitive environment for the chance to win 20,000 dirhams as a cash prize.
We'd like to fill the gap between the university and we as a private sector or public sectors or government sectors. Because once the student study in the universities, they study about information security, they study about cyber security, they study a lot of things, but they don't have, let's say, a platform where they can practice what they have been learning in the school. So this is like why we created such event for them to share their knowledge. The second thing is to give them a safe environment, monitor safe environment to share their knowledge, to try to penetrate something, which is the smart city. And the third thing is to find the best out of them, these students, and try to recruit them and share their CV to the organization, private sector, public sector within the country, where they can ensure that they have a good career path.
The number of university students planning to stay in the UAE after graduating has risen 19% since 2013 to 69%. That's according to the latest report. The 2016 Quadrant Wave 3 report, commissioned by Aon Hewitt and Dubai International Academic City, shows that course satisfaction, preparation for private sector careers and job opportunities are among the reasons for a rise in Dubai's ability to attract and retain global talent. The findings showed that 84% of students were satisfied with their course of study, as well as a 36% drop in the number of Emirati students pursuing a career in the public sector. While 1 in 4 Emirati students expressed an interest in becoming an entrepreneur and starting a business. 22% want to work in the semi-government sector. Of the Emirati female students surveyed, none of them wanted to become a homemaker, with a majority wanting to study further or start their own business. Expat students largely preferred to pursue a career in the private sector, and 1 in 5 expats chose to go down the entrepreneurial route past their studies. Officials stated that the findings demonstrate how aspirations of students are changing and how young people are becoming far more entrepreneurial and optimistic about their future because of the opportunities to fulfill their ambitions here in Dubai.